The Wolf of Snow Hollow is the newest film from writer, director, actor Jim Cummings, the guy who does everything for his movies. He did a movie 2 years ago called Thunder Road, which I never saw, but I know people love. And so this is my first Jim Cummings film, but he once again plays the lead actor here. He plays a character who is a sheriff of a small town, Snow Hollow, obviously, and there are werewolf attacks, or so they think. He doesn't believe so, but people are starting to think maybe, because this thing's only coming out on a full moon and it's ripping people apart. Not like a man would, but not like an animal would either. So of course, their brains immediately start thinking of werewolves. He's out there to prove that it ain't that, but he is in way over his head. And not only is he dealing with this murder investigation, which he is, not dealing with well at all, because he's a small town sheriff and he's dealing with his local law enforcement and the feds, and no one will get involved with it. So he's trying to tackle this whole thing on his own. But he's also dealing with his ailing father, who's played by Robert Forster in his very last role, and also his teenage daughter, who he does not have a good relationship with, and her mother, who just seems to think he's the worst. And so it's just really kind of the drama of life, and also trying to be at the head of an investigation of something that you really don't know what it is, and really what to do about it. And of course the whole town is down on him, like, why haven't you solved this yet? The people whose family members are getting killed are harassing him, like, why the fuck haven't you figured this out yet? So he's dealing with a lot in this movie. And let me tell you, man, this is available to purchase only on VOD or something for about $15. So that might be a little pricey, but I will say that I loved this film. Now, this is a horror comedy, but the comedy is fairly subtle. The film I would compare it the most to, if I had to, would be something like Fargo. It had that feel to me. Whether, just like a small mountain town sheriff trying to investigate murder. Everyone's kind of a yokel. The comedy is like this smarter, a little bit more reserved kind of comedy. It's really well done, and we don't really get much in the way of actual like gore in the kills, but there are a couple like aftermath reveals, and those are pretty damn good. What I think this film is going to bank on, as far as the audience's attachment to it, whether they like it or not, is whether or not you like or are going along with our main character, played by the writer-director Jim Cummings here, the sheriff character. Some people might find him too much. I could see that. I could see it being, this is too dumb, or this is a little too over the top or too silly. I could see that being an argument, and I do think those are the people who are not going to like this. But for the people who this is working for, this is going to be one of their favorite films of the year. I think this is a great small town investigation, subtle horror comedy with some great reveals, some great drama, some really funny lines. There's a moment in the library that I thought was really funny, something he says to a librarian in the moment and his reaction. He's just a guy who's really on the edge the entire film. And some people might just not find that likable. They might not be able to relate to him and his anger issues and how he seems to be pushing everyone in his life away. He's dealing with alcoholism on top of his very tumultuous relationship with his father and as I said, with his daughter as well. And then this in over his head murder investigation, and of course questioning reality. Is this a fucking werewolf? I mean, this guy is dealing with so much, and he's already kind of a loose cannon at the beginning of it, that throwing all of this on top of him is going to make him snap. So And that's really the main focal point of the film, is more on his investigation and his dramatic life and how he's dealing with it, more so than the actual werewolf attacks. The werewolf attacks are part of the film and the main driving point for the narrative, but what we follow and what we're focused on is this guy's life and how he deals with it. And I personally just really enjoyed the hell out of that. I can understand. I don't think I take it to the lengths he does. I don't typically try to push everyone away to that extent, but his temper, stuff like that, I can definitely relate to. And I did find a bunch of this movie very funny, but I also bought into the drama, and I also enjoyed that. And I really liked the werewolf aspects. You know, when we do see the being here, the creature here, I thought that was really cool looking. I like how the horror sequences were filmed. I liked a lot of the style of the film. There was like these hard cuts and these real stylized shots that I really enjoyed. I really liked it. All the characters. I liked the relationships between them. I liked the way the story played out. I liked the reveals. I liked the ending. I should say I loved. I was a huge fan of this, man. Definitely one of my favorite films of 2020. I was really surprised by this film. When I saw that it was available to buy on there, I was very iffy. I didn't know what the hell it was. I never even heard of it. And then I saw how beloved Thunder Road was, which I knew was liked, but I didn't realize how liked it was. And then I saw some friends of mine who were posting that they had seen this. They actually went and saw it in theaters, and they were loving it. And then I saw it on there, $15, and I was like, you know what, fuck it. Like, I don't get to go to the movies anymore. Typically, I would throw 10, 11 something dollars at a movie to see it in theaters, and I would go once or twice a week. And I don't do that at all anymore. So throwing $15 down for a movie that seemed like it was going to be something right up my alley was worth it for me. I thought it was great. I'm glad that I checked it out, and I hope that this becomes a cult classic. I hope that this gets a lot of attention, because I just don't see it being mainstream. It's just not that kind of film. I don't think it's going to get anywhere near enough attention, but I can definitely see an audience like us, you know, the genre crowd, kind of picking this thing up and carrying it across the finish line and getting it to that kind of cult status. But really cool, Philic. Really, really, really well done. Man, I was not expecting to like this movie or love this movie as much as I did, but man, I was a big fan. So I'll be very curious, obviously, what everyone thinks, and I'll be curious more if people are willing to spend the $15 on it, or if they're just going to wait for it to drop on VOD for cheaper or on a streaming platform soon enough. But whenever you do, I'm not going to like say, oh, definitely spend the money. I get it, man. Times are tough. People are out of work, and this is not the time to be throwing away money on something that you're not sure of. So whenever you do watch it, it is worth your time, whenever it hits that price point that you're comfortable with. So definitely check it out, and let me know. Adios.